This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today we have a couple of good neighbors on with us today. We have Chris and Ryan McCue of McCue Renovations. What's going on today, gents?
How's it going, guys?
How you doing?
Yeah, not too much. Just excited to be on the show, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
No worries. Super happy to have you on the show. My first podcast back, being a married man. So we got a couple of first time for everything on this show today.
Yeah, sweet.
Beautiful. So we've never had an opportunity to meet before. We just had a quick little chit chat before we went live on the show. But I wanted to start off because I really don't know too much about your business. We've never met before. I kind of have some general ideas, been able to quickly glance and take a look through your website. But why don't we start? Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about your business?
Sure. So we're a renovation business based out of Barrie. Chris and I started a couple years back.
We were working with our dad. So our dad's been in renovation since we were basically born. We were working with him for a long time. Split up, kind of did our own thing for a bit. Both worked for different home builders. And then through the fate of the universe, we were brought back together and again, working for our dad. And anyways, eventually we kind of decided we wanted to do things on our own. And we went to the Sandbox downtown.
Yeah.
Big entrepreneurship center. We went down there and that's kind of what,
we were basically recommended through another friend of ours. They had gone through the program and, they knew that we were kind of starting out into our own business. And they said, have you guys heard of the Further Faster program at the Sandbox? And so that's kind of how Chris and I started. That was the first thing we did.
Yeah.
Got into the course. And originally we started the business with the intention to just buy a home. We were just we're coming up with ways that we can make as much as possible to just get into real estate. So that was kind of the reason why we started. But.
So here we are. Yeah.
Always interesting to get to know the story on how people get into doing what they're doing. Before that, just working with your dad, renovations, all kinds of stuff. That was the story there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the problem that the business solves, right? So if I'm listening, I'm a guest on the show, I'm listening to the show right now. I'm like, okay, we got a renovation company that's on. I'm curious. Maybe I got an upcoming reno. Maybe I want to do a bathroom. I got a fence going on in the background. What problem does your business solve and what's the scope? Because there's some guys out there that are like, I only do kitchens. I'm a kitchen guy and this is all I do. I've seen that you guys do multiple things. Do you guys have a specialty? Is it a jack of all trades? What problems do you solve?
Yeah. So ever since we started, our grassroots is windows and doors. That's what our dad had us doing. We were 10 years old. Our dad was taking us out to the job site. He'd give us a Sawzall and he'd just be like, Chris, Ryan, Michael, and Jordan, we have two other brothers, by the way, go out there and just start cutting these windows out. Just rip off the trim and cut these things out. So that's kind of how we started. But honestly, after working for the home builders, I think we kind of gained an appreciation just for different types of renovations. We're both pretty creative. We really, we enjoy kind of doing different things. So bathrooms, kitchens, decks, the whole nine. So we kind of, I think that's kind of why, when we started, we didn't necessarily niche just yet. We've just kind of been taking on everything.
Yeah. Being a new business, and Chris and I have done so many different things in the past. We learned lots through our dad, and then we both worked for home builders for a number of years. So we'd kind of been involved in everything in the whole home building process. So when we started our business, we thought, you know what, we don't really know what we want to niche in yet. We just know that we're interested in doing this thing and then just try things out.
So that's kind of, that's where it all started. Our dad, he actually, so part of our journey is when we were younger, he bought an apartment building downtown Barrie.
Yeah.
It was a 2-unit building. It was 1 unit when he bought it. And anyways, he ripped off the whole roof. And basically this was we didn't really have a choice. This was more of just like the family's helping like rebuild this thing because mom and dad got to retire. So basically he ripped off the whole roof. You know, we were, I don't know, probably 13, 14, 15 years old, whatever, just going through high school.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of pictures of when we were younger. Our friends would be coming over. We'd be framing up like, you know, all these different walls, ceilings, everything like that.
Yeah.
And we ended up turning that 1-unit building eventually into a 6-unit. And it's right downtown on Penetang Street. So that though, what I was to tie that back into what we were saying, he had us doing everything, like absolutely everything. We were doing the tiling, we were doing the drywall, we were doing the, you know, hanging doors, we were doing the deck, we were doing the railing, we did the whole nine. So it that kind of, you know, helped us, you know, just gain an appreciation and really have some good, like a decent skill set kind of going into our business. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. Getting to learn all that experience, especially at a young age, helps you. And you guys are still young as well too. So that goes a long way, man. When you're out there doing jobs for people, to say like, no, like we've done this a bunch of times before. So you know, you can trust us that we know what we're doing.
And I think to our dad, like right out of the gate, you know, being that he's always kind of been an entrepreneur, I think that's just kind of what he knew. So he always wanted to teach his boys how to, like, you know, this is how you can make money in life. And it doesn't always have to mean going out and getting a degree in something, or, you know, this is a great pathway to take as well.
Yeah, different avenues, right?
So he showed us, you know, he always showed us that there are options, but he really wanted to teach us what he was a master at. And so it kind of paid through for us for sure. Yeah.
So Ryan, I'm going to ask you as well, Chris, but everybody's got their favorite thing that they like, right? You do a lot of different things, right? From you know, the kitchen renovations to bathroom renovations to framing to painting to, you know, doing decks and fences and stuff like that. Yeah. And there's some artistic components to, you know, trim and finishing, and then the structural component from what it was to what it looks like after. And so I know from talking to enough guys that, you know, some guys prefer to do certain things, or some guys are really good at certain things. So maybe this could be a 2-part question. Yeah, sure. But Ryan, what's your jam? What's your favorite thing? If like you're going into a job site, and you're like, I get to do this today. Like today's a good day.
Yeah. You know what? It's interesting because I find that it honestly changes over time, but lately it's been showers.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've done a couple awesome shower builds. One of the most recent that we did was out in Baysville. So this is like Muskoka area. And it's in this big, beautiful, multi-million-dollar log cabin. And so I really wanted to build a shower that's kind of, you know, it doesn't take away from that cottagey look. So it's kind of cohesive, like and just has the soul of the cottage, but with like a modern touch. And that was honestly such a fun project, man. So I got to say right now for me, it's showers.
Cool. What about you, Chris?
Mine. So I like it all. I just, you know, sometimes I get to work and I'm thinking like, I can't believe these guys are actually paying me for this. I love doing this, but I would say for me, it's always been framing. I just love to frame. Yeah. Like that's what we were doing when I was working for that last home builder. We were building custom homes up in Muskoka. And I was a framer with them for the longest time. And I don't know, something about it. I don't know how to explain it. I just love framing. You're just like running around, like climbing the rafters like a monkey. Like just, I don't know, like on a nice summer day, you're working together with, like either you're the cut man or the other guy's the cut man. You're, you know, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but framing for me, for sure.
100%. Did you ever have a tree fort growing up, or?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah. Our dad, when we were all kids, he built us a little clubhouse in our backyard.
Oh man, like our 4 childhood memories were formed in that treehouse. You know, like everyone who lived in the neighborhood, all the kids who lived in the area.
Yeah.
Everyone, you know, they knew the McCues and they knew that we had this treehouse because we'd host these sleepovers and we'd have like, there'd be like 10, 15 of us crammed into this freaking treehouse. We had some electrical in there.
Yeah, so we had the electrical running from our main house about like 200 feet away. So this is just this long electrical cord just dangling from the deck to our tree fort.
And then we had our parents' old cube VHS TV, right? So we'd pop the VHSs in and then we figured out how to hook up a DVD player to it.
So lots of good memories.
Lots of good memories in the treehouse, man.
That's solid. Yeah, you guys look like a couple of treehouse guys.
Yeah. We eventually had some neighbors though. The raccoons, they kind of took over that tree fort. So we'd be Ryan. What happened one night? You're like sleeping.
Oh, dude.
In the middle, you're always hearing scurrying going around in the roof, right?
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, what happened?
Well, there was so we had like there was a light, right, that we had installed in the ceiling. So just a hole and this little light bulb that would pop out, and that's kind of how we lit up the treehouse, right? And at some point, I don't know why, but the light had been taken out. So there was this just kind of empty hole in the ceiling, and so. We're all sleeping and like I hear all this like scurrying in the roof and I'm just like, I don't know, I must have been like maybe 10 or 11 at the time. And I'm laying in my sleeping bag wondering where the sound's coming from. And I see like the head of a squirrel just like poke out and it's like looking down from the little hole.
Just staring at it.
And anyway, that was basically, I think that was Mother Nature's sign of telling us like, hey, this is our treehouse now. Because since then it was downhill, man. Raccoons, freaking everything started taking over. Yeah, and so
Oh, it's
more anymore. Yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to have a tree fort. Never really had the property. My dad built a playhouse for us. We had a 2-story kind of playhouse back there. So the bottom, my sisters would have their little kitchen in there. We had a sandbox in the front, and then we had an upstairs. He built a trap door so we could go up there. And
2 floors.
So 2 floors.
That sounds pretty fancy, man.
Luxurious.
Your parents were taking care of you.
Yeah, Dad did a pretty good job. Of course, I helped him build it too. So
nice.
getting into all that stuff.
You got some framing experience yourself, right?
Yeah, got a little bit.
Any bathrooms in there?
No, we weren't that sophisticated.
No, not at all.
All right, so let's talk a little bit. I love asking this question because different industries, there's different perceptions up there amongst the community, and it's always nice to be able to give business owners an opportunity to be able to clear the air, myths and misconceptions. So, in the renovation industry and in construction, do you guys have any myths, any misconceptions that you hear out there from customers that just simply aren't true?
You know what? It's tough because as much as I want to say a lot of these things are myths that, like, this is just my opinion. There is a lot of things within our industry that kind of suck. That being said, a lot of people are getting ripped off out there. Contractors, taking off without finishing jobs or doing hack jobs. And as much as I wish that it was a myth and that everything went smooth and, people got good contractors and that it's just kind of the reality of it. What do you think for like a myth, something that's not really true? Like, I know that's not really a myth. So I'll let this kind of.
No, I think myth-wise, like something that's maybe not necessarily true, is that all contractors, this one's like a classic, are smoking darts and drinking beers on the weekend. We don't do that, man. We're pretty, what's the word? You'll enjoy your occasional beer or whatever, but when all your friends are over, you're having a bonfire in the backyard. But for the most part, we're both pretty active. We like working out. I think that's actually kind of one of the things that brought us together. When we started the businesses, we were both going to the gym together, and we kind of, got a bit of a bond, and then, the rest is history. But I would say that's the biggest myth. Not all contractors are smoking beers, drinking beers, smoking cigarettes on the weekend. Okay, that's not all of us.
There you go. Yeah. So tell me, because there are a lot of businesses out there, a lot of contractors out there, what makes you guys different? What kind of decisions do you make as business owners, or how does your business operate maybe in a different way that could help build some trust with maybe somebody out there who's looking to maybe get a renovation done?
I would say, and maybe it's nothing like super new, and I'm sure there's lots of great contractors out there, but I think something that Chris and I really prioritize is just being what's the word I'm looking for? Just being very good with our communication, and just keeping our clients updated throughout the whole project so that they know everything that's going on. And what I mean by that is, if we're going through a project and something comes up or something happens that isn't ideal, not hiding that and just being like, hey, this is what's going on and this is how we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
Right. Like we recently were working on a project, another one in Muskoka, and it was basically, they wanted us to install a door in a log cabin. It was just a little bunkie in the backyard.
Oh,
right?
the other one.
Yeah. And so we're installing this thing and we realized the walls are completely out of level.
Yeah, so the whole bunkie was, it's sitting on its foundation, concrete foundation, but this concrete foundation is just a slab, and over time it's actually sunk quite a bit.
Right.
So when we're installing this door, it sunk so much that you can't install a door or a window like just plumb to the wall. You need to make sure that thing is level, regardless of what the structure is.
Exactly.
So that thing was like sloped
Right.
out back. The roof, the wall was slanted. Like it was just,
Exactly.
it was a bit
So-
crazy.
So basically what ended up happening was, Chris and I realized what the problem was. We figured it out, and I said, okay, let's get the customer over and let's just explain to them what's going on, because obviously the scope of work changes a little bit.
Yeah.
So, we brought the customer over, said, hey, this is what's going on with the cabin, but not to worry. This is how we're going to fix it. So all we had to do was just some custom jam work and some custom trim work on the outside, just for a brief explanation.
Long story short, the door, we basically just told them that because the cabin's the way it is, we had to make some alterations. So the door is going to be, we're going to try and make it as hidden as possible. But at the end of the day, because your wall isn't level, the door has to be level. So you're going to notice that the wall is not level, but the door is going to be working perfectly. So we gave them a heads up.
Yeah. So just to kind of like recap that all,
Yeah.
it's just being very open and honest people. Like Chris and I really prioritize that, not only in business, but in life in general. So it's kind of easy for us to transfer it over into business. And I think that's kind of gone a long way for us. So.
Beautiful. No, that's great to know. Okay, so I love asking this question as well. It's my favorite question because I'm the type of guy that likes to have fun, and it's always great to know what people's hobbies are and what they like to do. As a business owner, everybody who comes on the show is good at what they do, and they're very passionate about what they do. And you'd probably agree with me, when you're passionate and you're a business owner, work doesn't really feel like work. So you can tend to work a little bit more than the traditional, what society would say 9 to 5. And typically we work longer than that anyway, but it doesn't feel like work. And so there is not a balance, because a balance would mean everything equal, and we tend to work more than we play. So I like to say it's a harmony, that fine tune that just makes the notes and makes the tune sound really good. So when you're not working on or in the business, Chris, we'll start with you. What do you like to do for fun?
Okay. So when we're not working in or on the business, obviously we're still doing renovations at the end of the day. We got a shower that we're doing upstairs. So we're kind of always doing these. But other than that, separate from anything renovation, I really, really like the outdoors, and I like going, like when my girlfriend's here, we go out to Algonquin, we'll do camping, we'll go to Tobermory. Just like, I don't know, just being outside, going on hikes. Really, really like that stuff. Just going to the beach, anything that's just outside, sunlight, beautiful weather, I'm all for. And other than that, lots and lots of traveling. I love to travel. So I've been to some cool places in my life, and I intend to visit a lot more cool places for the remainder of my life.
Give me a couple cool places that you.
So when I was 18, me and 3 of my friends, one of them you had on this podcast, Brogan May, shout out. So we all went to, we basically finished high school, and we're like, okay, guys, should we go to college or university, or should we go to Thailand for 2 months? So we kind of had that conversation. We decided, the 4 of us, we all went to Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Cool. We did we rode elephants, we were scuba diving, we did whitewater rafting, partied a little bit. It was just, I ate a scorpion. It was, I rode an ostrich. I got a picture of myself on the back of an ostrich riding the thing around. Anyways, but stuff like that, obviously you're never going to be able to, there's not really a value on that. So I'm always going to have that. That's always going to be, amazing memories and amazing, thing that I can look back on for the remainder of my life. And it kind of just helps me stay positive. But I've been there, been to Germany a lot. my girlfriend actually lives in Germany, so we go back and forth quite a bit. I've been there, Australia. I've been to Costa Rica, Peru, Machu Picchu. Yeah, I've done a few nice places. So
Nice. What about you, Ryan?
Okay, well, lately, so I found myself, I've kind of always been into the whole like content creation, and I kind of discovered that through the business, is that I was really into just creating content, and through that I kind of found myself picking up photography as a hobby. So again, shout out to Mr. Rogan May. He's the guy who recommended us to go onto this podcast, but he originally got me into it. He's an aspiring artist and a really good friend of mine. So he'd oftentimes invite us out to come to the shows, and eventually his brother ended up just lending me his camera. So I just go to the shows with Rogan, and I'd say, I'm going to take some cool pictures of you, try to get some videography. And so that's kind of how it started. And then I started to kind of find wildlife photography is a pretty big passion of mine. Since I was a kid, I've always been into that kind of thing, just love wildlife and stuff like that. So in my spare time, I like to get out and go hiking and take the camera out and see if I can find anything to take pictures of. And then similar to Chris, I love to travel as well. And so I've done a little bit of traveling and definitely have some more coming up. So
he's going to Greece in a month.
Oh man, I want to go.
Yeah. So I'm
right around where you were.
Yeah, not too far off, From you said you're in Malta.
Around the corner. Yeah, Malta, Sicily, and Rome. I've been to Rome before. My wife never had been. She'd never been across the pond. It was beautiful. We had gorgeous weather the entire time, except for one night in Sicily. It rained, and it came down, and where we were in Taormina or in the mountain, and I could see outside of the hotel room. Just because it goes like this, right? If you're on video, you can see just like the zoom Mazda commercial is like all the way down, right? Okay. And the water that was rushing down, and then just ambulances like every 5 minutes.
Nuts, right?
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yeah, this will be my first time across the pond as well. So I've done lots of traveling, but I've never been to Europe before. So this will be the first Europe trip. Super exciting.
You're gonna love it, man. Once you realize the quality of the food and they got it dialed in over there, you'll bring back and change a couple of things. Especially, I know you guys are health guys. Start learning about the ancient grains and the low glucose levels that are in the grains, and why you don't feel like shit, and how they make it from scratch, and everything's fresh. It's gonna change. It'll change.
Yeah, no, I keep telling Chris, man, I don't know if I'm going to be coming back. I don't know. We have to expand the outreaches of McCue Renovations a little bit.
I'll come on home base and produce or something.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm similar to you guys. Never really enjoyed travel as much because I was a traveling salesman for in my early 20s. Yeah. So I know what it's like living out of a suitcase, traveling. I've been in every major city in Canada. So I've been able to see some cool things, but gained a bunch of weight and not the best lifestyle living out of a suitcase like that. And then finally got the chance to do some more extensive travel kind of throughout the US. And then finally got to go across the pond. Now I definitely enjoy it a lot more. Yeah. And definitely wilderness buff like you guys. So we're heading camping, taking the Friday and Monday off. After this weekend, the next weekend, we're going to go up with my brother-in-law and my sister.
Where are you guys going?
We're going to go up to Loring, so like 2.5 hours north of here.
Where's that? I don't know. I've never been.
Loring?
Yeah, so it's about an hour and a half southeast of Sudbury.
Okay, yeah.
Wicked, man. Are you guys doing are you going to be doing some backcountry camping, like canoeing and portaging?
Yeah. We're not gonna portage with it, but we've got an easy access to get on, and then we can throw all of our gear, dry food into the canoe, so we can bring a lot more. If the weather holds out, I'm going to bring my 4-year-old Australian Shepherd. His name is Jax.
I love it. You're bringing Jax, yeah.
Bring Jax out there, and then just camp out for 3 days. We want to do some fishing in the canoes and.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah. You said you're bringing dry foods. So are you doing like the what's it called, the dehydrated stuff, or are you doing?
So Pat has that for when he goes like on his own, because it's you can only bring so much if you're going to go on your own. But when there's 4, you can bring a little bit more. So we're foodies, and we're gonna go gourmet AF.
Dude, that's us.
We're bringing steaks. Dude, we're bringing bacon, eggs. We're making it all, man.
Dude, it's funny. Like I've been out with buddies and who have never been camping or portaging with us, and some of them get a pretty good laugh because normally when you're doing these backcountry trips, you're trying to be as light as possible, right? because
Right.
you got kilometers to put down, and
Yeah.
you never know what the train's going to be. And I've had some good laughs with buddies because they're like, McCue, what the hell is in this bag, man? And it's like freaking T-bone steaks and like grilling grates, and so just like
It's got the cast iron pan.
oh,
That's
dude, like 30 freaking pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. First night we're doing we're doing steaks, and we're gonna do my famous potatoes.
What's the famous potatoes?
So take your tin foil, salt and pepper, onions, butter, garlic,
Okay.
and
Nice.
then onion soup mix.
Onion soup mix.
Then put your potatoes, and then repeat the same process on the other side. Wrap it in tin foil. You're good to go. Throw it on the fire. You're done. Amazing. Then Chantal and Pat are going to do. We're going to do Greek. We're going to do Greek chicken skewers and lemon potatoes.
Oh, that's gonna be sweet.
And then Julie's making a homemade pasta sauce. We're doing spaghetti and pasta for the.
You got room for another camper?
Yeah, you boys can come. Bring it. All right, let's shift gears a little bit over to something a little bit more serious. You know, in life, everybody kind of picks a path, right? We pick our path, we walk that path of life, we move forward in time, and we don't really get to kind of control what life throws at us. And sometimes life will throw obstacles, challenges, hardships, sometimes tragedies. Sometimes people experience those a little bit more than others. But what's always fascinated me with humans is our ability to be able to overcome these challenges, right? It's all up here in the mind. It's being able to see the glass half full. Can we pull a silver lining from something? How do we grow? How do we learn from this? And then how do we move forward, right? Because we have to move forward. Time moves forward. We have to move forward with it. So I wanted to ask you if you guys want to go maybe one at a time. Maybe Ryan, we'll start with you this time. Have you ever experienced a hardship, a life challenge that you had to overcome, maybe made you better, maybe made you stronger, maybe you took some silver linings from it?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, you know what? I would say, okay. So, after high school, like every young person, is trying to figure out what they want to do with their life and where they're going, what their plan is. It's not always easy to figure that out. And so, I always kept myself busy and stayed working and everything. And I think I was working for a home builder at the time. And I guess just like realizing, is this, and it's crazy because what we do is we build and we create things, but it's just I guess the environment for me just wasn't it. And that was really tough to kind of like navigate through that. And I found it really draining at the time and just wasn't really aligning with what I wanted in my own life. And, that's really pushed me to who I am today though, because at the time I wasn't sure, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to continue, being in the construction trade, and I wasn't sure if that was it, but I just realized, I want more in my own life. And I always kind of had this vision and idea of running my own thing or just like starting my own business. And, so at the time it was, I guess that was a bit of a challenge, but it pushed me to, get out there and team up with my brother and start something and just really kind of follow that dream that's kind of always been there. If that answers your question, I'm not sure, but
no, yeah, it does. I mean, it's cause and effect, right? So you go through a phase of suck. That's what I like to call it. Yeah. Something happens in your life, whether it's personal, whether it's something in business, and you've got to be able to overcome these challenges. So there's going to be a phase of suck. It's not going to last forever, but it's going to last for a period of time. It's like, how do we react to that? The decisions that we make from, cause and effect will determine, what that outcome is and the trajectory or path that you go and take from there. So very interesting to hear, when a human being goes through struggles, what happens and the decisions that you had made. What did you learn from that? How did you grow from that? And now you're partnered and teamed up with your brother. Yeah. You work for yourself. You do good work. You help people.
Hey, gets to work with me.
Cool story. No, really cool. Yeah. What about you, Chris?
Mine's I know what mine is, but and a lot of my really close friends, my family, definitely Ryan knows. But so years ago when I was 17, 18, like you know, me and Ryan were obviously, we've always been into fitness. We've been working out lots, and you know, I took school as serious as I could, and I did well with school, but I just always had these big plans for myself. And then right after high school, shortly after our trip that we went on, I started getting like pains like in my joints. And I started, like, something was going on with my body, and I wasn't 100% sure what it was. But these pains started getting worse and worse and worse. And my knee would start swelling up to the size of like I don't even know how to explain. Like, it was crazy. This thing was like twice as big as it normally is, swelling up and filling with, like, you know, pus and all that stuff. And it got to a point where, you know, I'm basically regularly visiting the doctor. They're grabbing the needle, pulling it all out, not to get all nasty or anything. But you know, being a young guy, like, that's a pretty big confidence hit. Because I was just like, Jesus Christ, like, what is going on with my body? And it got to the point where I had to go to the doctor's office, and I couldn't even, like, I'd like to think I'm a pretty tough guy, but I had a really tough time walking. So my mom actually threw me in a wheelchair, and she was like, she's pushing me around in the wheelchair. I'm like bedridden this probably went on for about a year or so.
Wow.
They gave me these pills. It was helping out for a little bit. It was, you know, easing the pain. I was trying to save up for a house at the time. So I was just like trying to work. And one night I took one of these pills. And the thing with these things is they're very hard on your stomach lining, the ones that are supposed to treat your joint pain. And Ryan remembers, but it was the middle of the night. I had to use the bathroom, and not to get too into detail, but it didn't go so well. So I got out and I started walking back to my room, and I fainted right there. And then, you know, Ryan ran out of his room. He's like, he was the first one on it. He's like, holy, like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? But long story short, over time, that all kind of settled, and they put me on this new thing. It's I found out it's Crohn's. That's what I had, and that's what I have. And I get these infusions every 2 weeks. So they're self-administered. I just, you know, pop these things in myself. And since then, like, it was literally I just remember just thinking, oh my God, this is like, God has given me another chance. Like, this is crazy. So yeah, not to get like too deep or anything, but but that was huge for me. And like, every time, like, I'm going through anything tough, I always look back, and it's just, yeah.
And can I add one thing into that? Just being his brother, and you know, I was obviously, I was a part of the whole, I saw everything happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anyone who's as mentally tough as this guy in my life. And I mean that. Even through like the worst of the worst, this guy is able to keep it together. And you know, maybe he's not, and maybe inside he wasn't, but no one would ever have, like, he stayed so tough through all of it. And I'm telling you, like, there was times where it was like, you know, seeing my brother not even being able to move, and this guy's my workout partner, right? So we always used to work out together, and he'd still find it in him. And I remember, you know, he would.
Actually, Ryan was the one who got me back to work, because I was sleeping on the freaking bed I was laying on the couch every day because I could barely move. Yeah. And then finally he started saying, like, hey, I got this new sales job at Good Life. I got this new sales job at Good Life, and he was kicking ass. He was selling a lot of memberships. He's doing well. And he said, you should give it a shot. And he got me in. And honestly, that was the first step, like, for just like recovery. So I went back to Good Life. I was talking to a lot of people. I was in a good environment. And honestly, since then, I've had my ups and downs, but that was like the point where, you know, just things started getting better. So
that's an inspiring story for people who are listening, and not only resilience and willpower, determination, that type of thing, but family and bond between human beings, and socializing with other human beings. There's a lot that you can unpack and digest, and really appreciate you being open and sharing that with us.
I don't talk about it too much, but yeah,
that's what Jeff and I love, man. That's why we love doing what we're doing, is having deep conversations, really get an opportunity to get to know people. A lot of people go out there, they have conversations. It's, hey, how are you? I'm doing good. And it's just surface level shit, right? And there's a time and a place for that, but we really try our best to get to know people on a deeper level. it just builds stronger connection, and it builds trust. And at the end of the day, the more people that trust each other and like each other, I think it just makes the world a little bit of a better place.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'll share with you, since we're on the sharing train.
Yeah, what the heck's going on with you? What's your story?
I've got a bunch, but I've mentioned that one a few times, so I'll go a little bit deeper. But I have a history of being bullied throughout about more than half my life, starting in elementary school. So I was born in Winnipeg, moved here, got put into French school right away. I was in French immersion, so straight into French in grade 2. And then just going through elementary school, was bullied that kids put fart bombs in my bag. In grade 4, get into grade 7 and grade 8. And then there was a new kid that started. And, he bullied me into grade 7, threatened to kill me. Coming into grade 8, I had to get the principal involved.
Yeah.
I had to fight him on the school park. And then that translated into grade 9, because then the new high school was built. The year before that on Ann Street, and they amalgamated a couple of different schools. And so we went right into grade 9 into that school, and he followed. They said, Nouvelle. Yeah. So he said he was going to fight me on the first day, and he didn't show up the first day. The second day he showed up, fought right in front of the principal's office.
Wow. Had
to fight again in grade 11. I was being cyber bullied by somebody in my grade who I thought was my friend. And that just continued throughout like all of high school. It just, trying to be taken advantage of. Then I got into the workforce, and then I was then bullied again. So working for an American who my predecessor here actually sued the company for what actually happened to me. Yeah. So I finally took my first outside sales role. The guy gave me a stomach ulcer. He gave me the shingles. I had the shingles here at like 24 years old. Just ruthless, just like mean people, just treating you like crap. And I've climbed up and down the corporate ladder, and I can deal with some stuff. And then I did 9 years in marketing in the car business, and I worked for an A-type personality who managed through fear and some forms of bullying through there as well too. So I've got some thick skin. I'm a pretty anti-bully advocate for that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've been kind of up and down through the ringer. So silver linings. I try to put myself in other people's shoes. I try to treat people the way that I would want to be treated, not they. I would want to be treated very well. And so I try my best to do that when I'm out and about, to give me a little bit of a different outlook on it. And, anytime I'm seeing somebody not being treated the right way, I'm usually one of the first guys to get in there and try to rectify that, because no one deserves to be treated or humiliated or made fun of when it's not warranted of that type of thing. So that I've had that a little bit growing up. So
geez, man. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's intense.
Yeah. But hey, you learn from it, you grow, and
hey, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
And all of that good stuff. So Jay, did you want to say something, Chris?
No, I was just going to say, look at obviously it's funny, like something that like I've I don't know, like obviously maybe it's just a good philosophy to live by, but just like from what I went through too, I just kind of always look back, and it's like, okay, as crappy as life can be sometimes, every situation, like you try and think, you're like, and which I'm sure you were doing the exact same, you're thinking like, okay, what is the positive? Like, what the heck is the silver lining, right? Like you just mentioned, what's the silver lining? What can I at least take from this? And I think there's like something in everything, what I mean? Even the crappiest, things that happen to all of us, it's there's always something you can learn from it. And obviously, I don't know, are you a dad yet or no?
My wife has an 18-year-old daughter, so I am a dad.
Okay, yeah. No, that counts. But obviously, you're bestowing your knowledge upon, the next generation, right? So you obviously went through a lot, and and the next generation's lucky to, the next generation of Preston's is going to be very lucky to have, dad with all of his wisdom and experience.
Yeah, for sure. So, for sure. And, I think at some point, most of us have dealt with bullies. You could probably look back. I can attest to it and look back to when I was younger, for sure. And this is probably something that you've gained from it, is that obviously when you're going through it, it sucks and it's testing you and it's like really pushing you. But you know, those crappy people and those shitty experiences in life are what grow us into strong people. So there's always that silver lining of it. And I'm sure you can look back and, you know, you've probably grown so much from it, and it's, you know, bettered who you are today, right? In a multitude of ways.
Yeah. And also helps you understand what you like and what you don't like. I did 9 years in the automotive industry, and it's a great industry. And I know there's a lot of money to be made into it. It's just not my cup of tea. I prefer to deal with guys like you guys doing what we're doing on the podcast, just talking with awesome people. There are some awesome people in the car business, but
did you sell cars?
No. So I worked for an automotive marketing company.
Oh, okay.
So we would help car dealers retain their own clients because they focus a lot on the new business. Sometimes they're clients who have purchased previously in the past. And new cars and new models come out all the time. So it's, you know, what is really kind of keeping them when the life cycle, like the sales cycle, is so long, could be 2 to 7 years by the time you get another car, right? Depending on what goes down. So we'd help them. We would do the marketing to bring their existing clients back, and we do a sale day, like a 3-day sale.
Gotcha.
So I would go and work with the automotive dealers to kind of structure and put it all together, do the marketing. So we'd send somebody there, and they would do a 3-day sale, and they'd get like 2 weeks worth of business in 3 days, and
that's
house, sell a bunch of cars. So
and it sounds like you took that experience into what you're doing right now, right? Like obviously the marketing.
That was a big one. First guy on the ground. We built it up to $12.5 million. I got to be sales director, managing a sales team of 6 in Ontario and Atlantic, Canada, building up the territories. A team of, I think we had 42 event managers who would run the sales, and
bit of a confidence boost, I bet, eh?
It was fun.
Okay. You know what? Maybe I should start my own business, eh?
Well, yeah. And then like what I've said on the show before is being at the height, making the most money I've ever made. COVID hits, everything shuts down, flips the automotive industry on its head. Now they don't need us. I leave the car business to try to build up a business of my own, realize it's evenings and weekends, like just opposite of what works for my lifestyle. Could even take care of my own dog. And then, you know, you talk about going to your lowest of lows, then going into debt, and then building up the business we have now from scratch, and fighting and clawing your way, borrowing money where you can, trying to make it work. And then eventually, you know, we're good now, but it wasn't too long ago where I was still in survival mode. So the journey in life's crazy, but it's what you do with what you got, and it's how you fight for what you want and all that fun stuff. Right.
Yeah, man. And just like, you like, you know, as fairly new business owners, and you know, we're trying and doing our best, and you know, we definitely haven't made it to where we want to be yet. But is there any advice you could give, you know, to guys who are kind of going through that, and we're trying to make things work, and it's, you know, it's in our industry, it's like it's either when it rains it pours, or it's super sunny, and business is great, you know, in those times where it's maybe not, there's no in between. Maybe when it's not the best, like, you know, just asking you for some advice. How did you guys really get through it and keep pressing on through those tougher times, you know, and not give up?
Yeah, there's definitely, I mean, I could unpack this and we could take another hour if you want to. Now you're getting me going, which is great. You're in my wheelhouse. Because Jeff and I are kind of addicted to this stuff. We love scaling business, and when you scale a business, and anything in business, if you follow Alex Hermosi, he's one of our mentors, we follow him very closely, and he said, look, he goes, in business, if you go backwards in growth, it's going to be stressful. If you're stagnant, it's going to be stressful. And if you grow, it's going to be stressful. So just accept the fact that that's your norm.
That's funny. I wasn't expecting that last part. That's hilarious. So basically choose your stress at the end of the day. Because no matter what, you know what I mean? Life, it's like going to the gym. I know a lot of people say like, okay, you don't go to the gym you're not exercising, or you're not active. You're going to be, you know, feeling like crap. If you do go, then you got to wake up early, go to the gym or whatever, maybe cut out certain friend and family time. You're going to suffer that way. So it's like you're suffering either way. It's like choose your That's interesting.
Okay.
I never heard that one with Hermosi.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of just understand that like running a business is hard, and it's like you're going to fail and be okay with that. Just fail forward and learn. I mean, that's how we learn. So don't be afraid to fail. It's what can we learn from that? What can we take, and how do we grow, moving forward from there. But I can have a 4-hour conversation with you guys after the show. And just talk about this.
That was
great, man. I feel like
we needed to hear that.
You wrapped it up quick. That was good, man.
Very cool. All right, so let's wrap up the show here. I'll let you both answer because I'm in a giving mood today. And normally the question is, what's one thing that you wish our listeners knew about your business? But I'll let you each answer that individually. Maybe see if you even say the same answer or not.
Yeah, that's a
okay.
good one.
What's one thing that we wish people knew about our business?
One thing.
One thing off the top of my head. I would say You coming over there?
I'm sure. That's a really good question, man.
Yeah.
Is it that you care? Is it the quality of work? Is it that you guys are passionate and you can see?
Like our business is specific.
Yeah, your business specifically. What's one thing that you wish our listeners?
Just like our industry, something that you wish people knew about. I misheard that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go ahead. I'll go.
Yeah. One thing about our business specifically, I would say, is it kind of ties back into Ryan's communication thing. I would say McCue Renovations, the number one thing that we like to, our number one rule that we've also learned from other business owners is reputation is everything. Like reputation is everything. So you know what I mean? If you say something to somebody, if you give somebody your word, you should do your best to hold that up. You should be communicating with people. You're just trying to be, known as the person that you want to be. And I would think, like in our business, you're not necessarily just trying to develop yourself as, a businessman or whatever. But like myself in particular, the better I get, like the more I develop myself as a human being, the better the business runs, the better my relationships run, the better my family. So basically I would say it kind of all centers around that. Yeah. And then, Ryan, I'll let you take it.
Honestly, man, just to give it a one-worder, I would say it's trust.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I want people to know about McCue Renovations is that they can trust us from the start of their project all the way to the end. And maybe that sounds cliche, but that genuinely is what it is for me. And so it's short and sweet, but trust for sure.
Love it, man. Love it. That was a phenomenal conversation. My first one back from getting married and the honeymoon. I can say I wouldn't want to have it any other way. You guys are a bunch of beauties. I think there's definitely going to be some people who are interested and want to know a little bit more, get to know you guys, and maybe even take a look at a upcoming project that they have in mind. And so for those who are, what would be one of the best ways that they can go ahead and reach you?
Yeah, so you can Google us, see our reviews on McCue. You just type in McCue Renovations or type in Renovations, Barrie, whatever. We're right on Instagram. Ryan's running the Instagram page.
I love to keep our. Oh,
No,
still there
for a sec.
He's still there. I love to keep our people up to date with our projects, mainly on Instagram. We're always posting reels and stuff like that.
It's at McCue Renos.
At McCue Renovations on Instagram. Check us out.
And then our website, www.mcqrenovations.com.
Yeah. So.
Beautiful. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, gents. Thanks a lot for coming on the show and looking forward to seeing you guys out there.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, man.
Cheers, man.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpwithjeffandsean.com. That's gnpwithjeffandsean.com or call 705-413-3775.